Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info and Kofi Bartels. Let's talk.
This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Okay, we're still here. It's the Morning Crossfire, 99.3 Nigeria Info. My name is Kofi Bartels. We have 6 minutes gone past 8 a.m. Today is a Thursday, and every Thursday on this station at this time, we take care of your health. All right, there's a lot to talk about as far as the health sector is concerned. But this morning, we choose to, talk about mental health. Mental health is important. Your psychology, your psychiatry, your mental state of your mind and everything. It's important. We don't talk about it enough. I'm sure the average man out there, just like myself, is aware of several things like malaria, other things, HIV, but we don't know much about mental health. Some of us don't even know the difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. But it's important to be aware of issues surrounding your state of mind. That's the mind controls a lot of things that happens to us every single day. I'm not going to talk about it. We have a guest on the program this morning who will be doing justice to our topic as we proceed. But my name is Kofi Bartels. I remember we had a bit of a discussion on the lead a day or two ago regarding the Oga at the Top episode where the gentleman went on Channels TV again. I think it was his valedictory interview, to talk about his life, to talk about, how he had handled that whole episode, and to talk about what was up with his work. Apparently, the gentleman in question had been promoted after he retired from the Nigeria Civil Defense Corps. All right, and he deserved it. But one thing that he mentioned that struck me, like I said yesterday, touched me, was he said that that episode of Aga at the Top that went viral and everyone, was talking about it. People printed it on T-shirts. People, created memes. His face was everywhere. He says it affected him mentally. It affected him mentally. And this morning we're looking at the mental effects of social media trends. We want to talk about that for a bit because I see people putting, their children online. I see people talking about other people online. For instance, Mesoma's case is one of the cases that caused me, made me bring this up as a topic this month. So we want to talk about it. What are the mental effects of social media trends? Is there something we need to know about this? Is there something we need to discuss? Is there something that we need to be aware of in order to, make better decisions as users, of social media, or recipients of the trends? I don't know. Our guest this morning is Dr. Mustapha Toyin Sanbe, PhD. He has a PhD in counseling, clinical health psychology. All right, so he's a clinical and clinical health psychologist, particularly with adolescent psychology, youth counseling, family and psychological well-being specialist psychologist as well. He holds a second-class upper degree in counseling psychology from LASU, a master's degree in adolescent psychology and youth counseling from the Premier University of Ibadan. I had to add that. I'm sure he's so proud of his university, and as all of you who attended that school are. He has a Master of Philosophy degree in Clinical Psychology from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, a Doctor of Philosophy degree in Psychology, Clinical Health Psychology in particular, from Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, might I add the prestigious OAU. He has worked as University Counselor LASU. He's now retired. Principal Clinical Psychologist, Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba. Presently, he is a consultant in charge, Sanbe Memorial Counseling Clinic, Surulere, and the University Counselor, Summit University of North Central Zone, Nigeria. Sir, it's a privilege having you, and I hope I got the pronunciations well. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. For those who are listening, if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, which I hope you will, please feel free to call us on the numbers usually advertised, or we usually advertise, rather, 0700 993 993 993. 0700 993 993 993 is the number to call. Our female listeners can call that number, or you can also call your special line 01465 7190. 01465 7190. We'll look at mental health from the perspective of users of social media. What should you do to protect yourself as a user of social media, so that your mental health is not affected? Secondly, those who are on the receiving end of trends, how should we as users of social media conduct ourselves so that we do not harm their mental health? And if you are on the receiving side, what are you meant to do to protect yourself? Doc, let's start from this way. Have you, as a psychologist, made any observations? Is social media something that is factored into what you guys in psychology do?
Hello.
Yeah, Doc, are you there, please?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes. So, is social media part of what you in psychological field, on the field of psychology, look
Yes,
at in your practice? Yeah.
yes, very well. And classically so. And I can tell you for free that as we speak, that what we call internet addiction as a classification of psychopathology.
Oh.
And I should quickly like to let you know that issues about psychology are not necessarily inclining towards psychopathology. Psychology in health or health is geared towards well-being. To that extent, straightforwardly answering your question, definitely capital YES, yes. And it is classified in the DSM-5 as we speak today as internet addiction with its concomitant psychopathologies. Thank you.
All right, very interesting. Doc, what is your view of people who are on the receiving end of social media trends? So the person says something and it goes viral. The faces are everywhere. Probably said it's funny, so people will make fun of it. And it could be in a video form or a picture form, and it could be everywhere. The case study is of this Oga at the top gentleman who, I'm sorry to use that term, but that's what I think people can refer to quite easily, where he granted an interview and he was asked certain questions. You all know the story. And he reminded us this week in an interview he had with Channels TV that the statement he made was put on T-shirts. It was put on T-shirts. It was put on, on in memes on social media, and he said it affected him negatively. What is at play? It affected his mental state. What is at play, and what happens to people who are on the receiving end of such social media trends?
Thank you very much. The issues about internet bullying or internet misconceptions and misperceptions can take not only a toll on the physical health of the individual, it can go to the extent of taking toll on their psychological and physiological well-being, which obviously include poor sleep. And unfortunately, the social media is composed of mosaic of people or individuals. Those who don't know jack about the subject matter will comment. Those who have half knowledge, or as what we call unbaked, they will express their concern. Those who have gross misperception about issues of discourse will still pass comment. And all of this go on impinging on the well-being of the individual that is being talked about. Like in this case, internet or social media issues or concerns may precipitate sleep distortions, call it sleep disorders, call it irregular sleep pattern, which will now lead to unwellness of an individual and becoming highly irritable and unnecessarily suspicious about matters, time loss in the process of such, economic loss, because the individual may be stuck and grounded on what the Afrocentric psychophilosopher will look at as Ire Wolele, or something similar to Ye, Mogbe, Moku, Modano, based on the misconceptions and the comments that are unhealthy and irrelevant, but are torturing to the psyche of the principal actors in that circumstance. All of this, that just as we know that man is a social being, will not only affect that individual in discourse or the front burner, but all the appendages or networks of the individuals or groups associated with that individual. So it has a gross multiplier effect, if you allow me to be factual and straightforwardly in these views. I want to thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. You've said a lot, giving us food for thought right there. If you're listening, you want to call, please call 0700-993-993-993, 0700-993-993-993, 01465-7190, 01465-7190. Looking at the mental effects of social media trends. We have a call coming through. Let's see who we have here. By the way, the man's name is Mr. Shemo Bafaye. I don't know if he's listening to us this morning, but good morning to you, sir, if you are listening to us. Hope you're enjoying your retirement. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome. Please turn off your radio set. Who do we have on line?
Okay, my name is Carlos.
Carlo, nice to have you. Where are you listening from?
Thank you. I'm calling from Ijaniki.
Okay, Carlo, please go on.
Okay, please, I want to know whether if loss of memory is part of the distance. Because forgetfulness, I've been too forgetful.
Okay. Are you referring to yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Have you been a recipient? Anyway, thank you so much for your time. Doc, he's asking if loss of memory is part of it.
Yeah, but we have to be very careful. It should rather go in for assessment, because there are so many issues that may lead to loss of memory. Has he had any fall in recent time? Has there been any accident? That he had gone through stress. Is he taking green bottles? How much of green bottles is he taking? These are dynamics of assessment. Is memory loss, common in the family or whatever? Internet may add, I must let you know, to memory loss due to stress or stressful effects of overstaying online. But that may not be sufficient to get to the bottom of that. Okay. That is why psychologists, they don't look at peripheral issues. We do detailed clinical assessment before we get to our psychodiagnosis and then do our psychotherapeutic formulation. Sometime in the process of therapy, we may need collaborative professionals, for example, doing laboratory tests, scan, and all of that. And maybe the individual will require medication, maybe the individual will require rehabilitation, etc., etc. So we are not going to start doing diagnosis on radio. But straightforwardly, it may contribute, but it is not sacrosanct. I want to thank Mr. Kanu for that question.
All right. Thank you very much, Doc. All right. Keep it close coming through. Also taking your WhatsApp messages 08095975805, 08095975805 for WhatsApp messages only. Doc, so we have several trends apart from Mr. Shemo Bafaye, who's told us recently in an interview with Channels Television that that Oga at the top, remark that went viral in 2014 had an impact, psychological impact on him. He was asked if he had given any interview since then. He said no, he hadn't given any interview since then. Uh, is there a form of withdrawal? I know you touched on this a bit, but I want people who are on the other side of the keypad, you know, to understand what happens in the mind of people. Because we have the likes of Mesoma, the young girl who was accused of faking her results, her results, and people dragged her. That's what we use on social media. Call it dragging. So what happens is there is a form of withdrawal from social life, a form of withdrawal from some sort of activities that one was used to, because of the shame that one may feel by being, brought out publicly like this, ridiculed publicly.
Thank you very much, sir. Uh, in psychological issues, we don't do one size fits all.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
We'll take individual as an individual because certain individuals may come down with the same diagnosis, let's say depression, but there will be different matters that are predisposing or precipitating. In other words, there are different things that may lead an individual to coming down with such diagnosis. However, in this case, it is sure that issues of bombardment with things that are confusing to an individual can lead to self-isolation or keeping self out of circulation, or even the perception of the individual may not be congruous with the reality, and so leading to misinterpretation and maladaptive behaviors. To cut the long story short, let us recognize the fact that being alone is not equal to being lonely. And being in the midst of the crowd does not exclude one from being lonely. So these are dynamics of psychological state of individuals. Just as commonly we talk about paradoxes. The more you look, the less you see. It may not make sense to ordinary person, but classical Yoruba psychophilosophy will say, firi firi lojú ń rí mú, ojú tó bá farabalẹ̀ ló máa rí mú. In other words, parsley will the eyes see the nose stop, but a calm eyes will see the nose stop. So these are issues and dynamics. Above all, thank God that the space is getting better open for people to walk in to see their psychologists. Psychology and psychological services, like I said earlier, is not about psychopathology. It's about psychological well-being. Let me shock you, for example. We had it in the news sometime when somebody parked Jeep, a qualified medical doctor, and took a dive into the lagoon. Shouldn't that occur to you that what could have been wrong? Something must be wrong. So what you and some other people might be seeing and counting will be what we call objective psychological well-being.
Doc, please hold the thought.
Please.
We want to go for a break. We'll be back to ask you some more questions. Stay with us, please.
Now, we already know we are very much in the season of double with OnePlay.ng. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? OnePlay.ng does not plan to let up, because this Christmas, OnePlay.ng is hitting you with the Jingle Bell jackpot. What does it mean, you're asking? Well, 500,000 naira will be up for grabs on Friday, the 22nd of December 2023. And here is how it works. On the morning crossfire on that day, 100,000 naira will be given away. On What's Up Lagos, on that same day, 100,000 naira will be given away. And of course, on the sunny side, 100,000 naira will be given away. It doesn't stop there, because on the hard facts, 100,000 naira will also be given away. And of course, on Game On, 100,000 naira will be given away, all in one day, ladies ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely mind-blowing. Now, to qualify, all you have to do is play the one-play game between the 12th of December and the 22nd of December 2023. That is all it takes. Just by doing that, you qualify to be in the Jingle Bell jackpot. Now, to play, do not forget, it has not changed. Go to www.oneplay.ng, pick Nigeria Info as your station and play with as little as 500 naira. In a few seconds, your ticket is in the draws. Or you could pick up your phone and dial *347 *880 *3# and just like that, you will be in the draws. Now, the more you play, the more your chances of winning. Remember to play responsibly and make sure you are above the age of 18 while playing. Now, oneplay.ng is a registered trademark of the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Commission. What are you waiting for, ladies and gentlemen? Start playing, start winning, start spreading the joy. Merry Christmas.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
As the Christmas bells ring and joy begins to flow, in this season Chivita juice is the way to go. Correct enjoyment, cheerful celebrations. In this season Chivita juice is the way to go. Chivita season is here. Whoever you are, this Christmas, enjoy your Chivita.
Everyone has a Chivita. Enjoy your Chivita this season.
Enjoy your Chivita.
Hey there, folks! The holiday season is here, and you know what that means.
It's time to treat yourself with Xiaomi's incredible end-year promotion.
Get ready for a shopping extravaganza from the 30th of October to the 31st of December 2023.
We've got amazing discounts on your incredible Redmi Note 12 series, Redmi 12C, Redmi 12, and the latest Xiaomi 13T.
But that's not all. When you shop with Xiaomi during this festive season, you stand a chance to win cash prizes.
You could win a whopping 6 million naira in cash.
But wait, there is more.
What's more?
You get 20% discount off all Xiaomi products, plus exciting prizes like Xiaomi TV, Xiaomi luggage, and more instant gifts during this special promotion. It's a deal you don't want to miss.
With the Ember season coming, now is the perfect time to treat yourself.
So, make your wish list. Head over to your nearest Xiaomi authorized store or visit Xiaomi on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter now. Xiaomi, making every season merry and bright.
Xiaomi. Get in on the action with Betano, your exciting destination for sports betting. Enjoy an award-winning experience with amazing betting options, cash outs and missions, as well as other features. Join now and get a welcome bonus of up to 200,000 naira. Betano.ng. The game starts now.
Guy, if I tell you see all this plenty airtime and data, where they take flex? Now dash glow dash me, you go believe.
Dash get for this kind of economy. I beg you.
Dey now, as I buy my glow sim like this, spirit, I first collect 1,000 naira welcome bonus. Sarah. As I come recharge, bam, glow knock me 10 times airtime bonus. I also enjoy double data. Join.
Wait, oh, you mean 1,000 naira welcome bonus?
Yes.
Plus 10 times airtime bonus?
Yes.
Plus double data again?
Yes.
But where's universe now?
The glow break the universe now. You want try?
Oh, mo, no wonder boys they flex anyhow on top phone 247 non-stop. Hey, I talk am.
My people, not let grass grow under your Lego. Go get your glow sim today. Dial *777# to buy and enjoy 10 times airtime bonus plus up to double data. Offer day for both new and existing subscribers there. Glow Unlimited.
I love my job as an HR manager, but I also love my weekends because I get to relax, spend time with family, and catch up with all the latest TV shows. But it's hard to relax when my phone is always buzzing. I have to sort out health-related issues for my colleagues because our HMO account rep is unreachable. Imagine my relief after signing with Reliance HMO and I have not received a single call from a colleague about any weekend issues. Even better, they can't stop telling me how glad they are that we've switched to a healthcare partner that's there when we need them. Now, I can finally enjoy my weekends, confident my team is cared for. Thank you, Reliance HMO, for giving me back my weekends. Sign up with Reliance HMO today.
For more information, call 0700 735 42623.
Reliance HMO, the next generation HMO for business.
Nigeria Info's I Beg to Differ debate is now in the finals. Claire Mika will slug it out with Akilo Seyon Charles for third place. Meanwhile, your finalists, Minanengel Furi David and Mary Uke Ashia, will match each other on two topics. At 4 o'clock, they will debate the topic. Artificial intelligence is a threat to human existence. And at 5 p.m., they will argue whether or not Hamas is responsible for the genocide in Palestine. I am Yvonne Ohaifo. Join Femi Obang Daniels and me this Thursday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. as we find out who will walk away with the grand prize. Nigeria Info's I Beg to Differ debate season 6. 32 debaters, now 2, 1 winner, 1 million naira. Supported by Obiwizi, Booker Hut, and Stover Industries. For sponsorship, call 070-3498-4352 or send an email to info@nigeriainfo.fm.
.3 Nigeria Info, your number one station for talk. Let's talk. This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, welcome back. It's still the Morning Crossfire, 99.3 Nigeria. My name is Kofi Bartels. Sheba Bafaye, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps officer, who has just been promoted. He's just been given a rank of deputy controller, I believe is what it's called, of the NSCDC. And we want to congratulate him and wish him the best. He was given this recognition after he retired, and I think it's better late than never, something that is well-deserved, but didn't come to him at the right time. And it goes to show how some of our servicemen, what they go through, serving the country for a long time, and they don't get the recognition they deserve. I think I've seen it happen in police before, where people were not given the due promotion before they retired. But Mr. Bafaye came to prominence in 2014. That's 9 years ago, when he made a little mistake with the website. He called, for the NSCDC, was asked a question about that on Channel TV Sunrise Daily, and he made his Oga the top remark. People went out, there were memes on social media, on Twitter especially. People printed T-shirts, and they became a big deal. But mostly people ridiculed him. I mean, I was part of those who laughed at it. It was it was content for me on radio. But maybe we weren't too aware of the effects of such on the person, the recipient, the center of attraction, like our guest has told us. Recently, he sat down with Channel TV again, and he opened up about the psychological impact of that interview, on him. He was asked about that interview, and if you remember at the time, he was the Lagos commandant of the NSCDC. So he was asked about whether he had any effect on his psychology or psychological state. He said that the aftermath of that interview affected him psychologically. He said he had never experienced such a situation in his life, but he had to open up. Talked about the tunes, the widespread use of that Oga the top on T-shirts and all that. Let's look at. So we're looking at the psychological or mental effects of social media trends on on those of us who receive it, or those of you who receive it, and those who are part of it. Our guest this morning, Dr. Mustapha Toyin Sanbe, PhD clinical and clinical health psychologist, adolescent psychology, youth counseling, family and psychological well-being specialist psychologist, is our guest this morning. Doc, thank you so much for your time, and we want to move straight to the next few questions we have for you. But if you're listening, you want to call in, feel free. 0700-993-993-993 is the number to call. 0700-993-993-993, and you can call for female listeners. Call that number, or call the number 01-4617 465-7190. 01-465-7190. WhatsApp messages are also welcome on 08095975805. 08095975805. Apart from Shebo Bafa, you have a lot of other people who've trended. For instance, Mesoma, the young girl who was accused of faking her exam result. She trended. Her face was everywhere. Her videos were everywhere. But you had people attacking her, insulting her, laughing at her, supporting her. You've had other people trend on social media. I don't want to go into all of it. But, Doc, please, are there still more, how would I put it now, more effects, the negative online attention one has on the mental health of that person, the mental well-being of that person? Please tell us.
Very well, and very many too. And such include anxiety disorders, social phobia, being afraid of people and gatherings, and afraid of talking in public, and never wanting to communicate with anybody, and then leading to mutism, which is another psychopathology. The person who has the capacity to talk but now decided, I don't know what level of misinterpretation that will be given to what I will say again. So I better keep quiet. See no evil, hear no evil, and talk no evil. Do you understand? Which is a classic withdrawal. Then trust issues. You understand? Schizophrenia, a state of, you asking or talking about A, the individual is responding, talking about Z, gross mental distortion, personality issues and personality changes, all forms of stress-induced psychopathology, which necessarily and coincidentally include high-level irritability and not wanting to, at any given time, that an individual is not seemingly easily understood. The person snaps and yank at the other person as if kind of interaction. So these are dynamics of the gamut of psychopathology and psychosocial dynamics that may accompany social media concerns and issues. Thank you.
Or from drawing someone and putting a big head, the big eyes, making them look ugly, or laughing, and from typing, these things can happen. Interesting. Doc, let's talk about the specific factors that can exacerbate, the psychological impact of social media trends, such as pre-existing anxieties and vulnerabilities. Do we have some such? Please tell us about that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Are there specific factors? Yeah. Are there specific factors that can exacerbate the psychological impact of social media trends, such as pre-existing anxieties and vulnerabilities?
So many factors. I got it now. So many factors. And basically in psychology, which is essentially the study of the dynamics of man and the composition of the making of the personality of an individual, is premised on nature-nurture dynamics, and essentially understanding the individual from even pre-birth, the circumstance of the relationship of the principal players in the production of that individual, the mother, the father, the circumstance of pregnancy, acceptance or not, and so on. All of these play roles in the formation of the individual personality, which later will impinge on how the individual will respond to issues of life, which may be malleated or even further tattered by what we call nurturing. An individual who has gone to a cultured institution or environment will learn how to maintain a queue and trust and believe in processes, unlike someone from, either Mushin, Jankara, or Ajegunle, who will believe that this life is survival of the fittest. I must fight for it, and all of those. So these are dynamics. We have issues of nature, nurture. We have the issues of individual family backgrounds. We have the issue of circumstance of birth. We have the issues of individual social, economic standing. We have the issues of self-worth, self-perception, self-construct, societal construct. Some people will say ayele, some people will say koseyan, some people will say èèyàn wọ́n, some people will say èèyàn tán. So all of these are psychosocial dynamics
All right.
that will compose the responses an individual will have based on what is coming from the society to an individual. Okay, like me, I used to say, mi ò ṣọ̀rẹ́ koríkòsùn. If I don't see you, I'll go and sleep. If you don't see me, go and sleep. Meanwhile, another individual will say, my friend is a koríkòsùn friend. But if he dies, are you going to die with him? These are
All right.
Psychosocial dynamics that we need to look at.
All right.
Thank you.
Interesting, sir. Doc, so how should the users of social media approach such trends when people are involved? When they want to make fun of them, want to laugh at it, use it for meme, especially those who are younger, like Mustapha, who is still she's not in university yet. She's still a teenager. How should the users of social media approach, jumping on trends? What should they have in mind? What attitude should they imbibe to protect everyone's mental health?
Thank you very much. I should like to mention that we cannot, even about now and more than before, emphasize the consultation of a psychologist. See the psychologist. See the psychologists. They are around you, they are around us, they are around me, they are all over the place in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. And no thanks or great many thanks to COVID, it depends on individual. There are
Oops, I think Doc's line has been dropped. Maybe someone is calling his phone. He's joining us via Zoom, so once he comes back on, we'll continue the conversation. I have some messages dropping in, but the fact is, those who are using it, who are the people jumping on trends, need to be aware that there is a mental aspect, a psychological aspect of these things. And I think Doc will tell us some more about it. And then he also will tell us how those who are the recipients can protect themselves. I think that's what he's talking about, that whoever you are, it's okay to go see a psychologist. Doc, I don't know if you can hear me, but we've lost, you're frozen. Oh my. Okay, we'll try and get back to him. So he's saying if you're the receiving end, you can go see a psychologist. All right, go talk to a shrink, like they call them, and say, this is what's happening to me. I mean, you never know who is going to be next. Somebody who nobody knows about, somebody who is not a celebrity could just be the next person to put on social media, put on the spot, put in the spotlight, and you feel, oh well, I'm becoming popular. But take it from me, there are effects. There are effects. So I've trended. I've trended before, and it's something else. The new challenge, a new phenomenon that we as human beings are dealing with. Let's read some messages while we wait for Doc. But if you want to call 0700-993-993-993, 0700-993-993-993, you can call that number. You can also call 01465-7190. If you're a female listener and you want to make a contribution, feel free to do that. 01465-7190. I saw a lot of the things people said about Mesoma. Some of the hurtful things they said, and I wondered, I mean, how will she feel? Even if she's young today, when she grows older, and she sees these things that are going to be there forever, what is it going to do to her mental state? Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Kofi Bartels.
Welcome.
Morning.
Very well, thank you. How are you, and what's your name?
Well, my name is Uche. I'm calling from Lagos.
Welcome, Uche. Please go.
All right. I want to first of all say kudos to the good job you're doing, and
thank you.
This social media bullying, it's a lot. I had a friend one time who had to resign from his job, and he did that because he took all these online loans, and those loan sharks started sending messages demonizing him to his colleagues and his contacts. He couldn't even go to work anymore. He had to just resign, and it affected him so bad. So So it's a lot, and thank you for what you're doing and opening our eyes to this. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate the calling. That's another aspect of things, Uche. The loan sharks and all that, and where they paste all your names, and it's really something you're trying to hide. You don't want people to know you are going through a tough time, and they just plaster it everywhere. It is not too good. It's not too good. You talked about social media bullying, and Doc mentioned it earlier. That's another thing people have to face. It may not be trending, it may just be one person insulting you on Twitter, or insulting you on Facebook, or calling you ugly. I've seen posts by some celebrities, or some individuals rather, who that thing just picks up. It becomes viral. You go into the comment section, that's on Instagram, and you see them, people insulting them. Oh, you're not even fine. You're ugly. Look at the big head. Blah blah blah. But are you aware that thing is going to affect the person, mentally? I wanted to ask Doc if suicide contemplation is part of the effects. But he talked about the individual who tried to jump off a third mainland bridge at some point. I earnestly pray that, we don't get to a point where people will trend on social media, receive abuse, or, be made fun of or something like that, and then they end up contemplating the unthinkable. I pray we don't get to that point, but we have to be mindful. Let's read some messages. Okay, on WhatsApp, this one says, is this for us? Okay. It says, good morning, Kofi, and good morning to your guest. Thanks for this enlightenment this morning. Social media never forgets. That's true. That's why I'm very careful of what I type. It says, social media never forgets. If you made a post on social media in the past, that no longer represents your reality. How do you then begin to push a new narrative so your past won't affect your mental health, since people still view you in that light? Mr. Boli in the corridor, that's a big question, $1 million question. That's a $1 million question. How do you erase your past? That's why I'm careful of what I type. There's some things I can't scrape. That's why I'm careful of what I type. Some things I can't scrape. So I'm careful of what I type. Really, I am. This one says, Glory, I don't understand your message. Can we be wary because of different health issues? Okay, I don't get what you're saying. I'm so sorry, Glory. I don't know if you can send your message again. Okay, this one says, I would like to know if your guest is licensed to prescribe medication. Thank you. I can send it to him as a private message. But if you need to see a psychologist, please feel free to do that. Okay, even if they're not licensed to prescribe medication, they can direct you to who is. But if you need to talk to someone, I think you should. Another one here says, social media is truly a melting pot of all kinds of people, and prolonged exposure can have a negative effect on one's self-awareness. If I spend so much time reading comments about my tribe or gender, it makes me feel so inferior. Oh, wow. I wish I had him on to ask him about that. Taking occasional breaks from these platforms is so important. Blessing, Keja. Blessing, you've raised a very important point. Because even if you're not trending, but it's something that has been discussed that concerns you, maybe your tribe, your religion, your gender, when you read it, you say it has an effect on you. That is true. That is very important. So you're recommending that those who are the recipients just take a break, from social media. Take a break from social media. A question I have for Doc, which if he was around, I would have loved to ask him, is about the impact of prolonged exposure to social media on one's mental health. Now, this is not about trend or no trend, but this is just you looking at Instagram every single day. You looking at Instagram, at Twitter, at Facebook, WhatsApp, TikTok, every single day. It was a time in this life, in this country, where we used to say, you are spending too much time on social media. Or, then you spend, maybe in the morning, you spend 1 hour, 2 hours there. Now, it's not about whether you're spending too much time, because it is a part of life that every time we're looking at our phone, every time we are looking at our screens. Now, the way I feel when I use Instagram, for instance, For a long time, I keep looking from one page leads me to the way I feel. I just know that something is happening up there. You know what I'm saying? I know something is happening up there. I just feel it. You know? It's just like the way I feel when I play PlayStation, for so long. I can sit down, then back in the day, I sit down and play PlayStation 2 hours, 3 hours, I'm there. All right, playing FIFA, you know. Playing, what do you call that other one again? That one, the fighting one. But that back in it, I realized that I was losing my attention to detail, my ability to stay focused on something. You know, I was becoming a bit more absent-minded the more I played, you know, PlayStation. And that's what I felt. I felt an increased absent-mindedness. And I said I wasn't going to play again. I became so addicted, you know. So that's what I was hoping to ask him, prolonged exposure. But when it comes to this thing called bullying and, you know, the things we do, we need to be careful because people are watching. You know, the words we use, the hurtful words, you know, it could have an effect. A person may show a brave face. I can say this because I'm also on the receiving end a lot of times. You know, abuse we receive as media personalities, as journalists, OAPs, from different people who don't like maybe something you said, forgetting you're a human being. You know? Oh my! If I tell you stories there, so I can understand what people who are like Blessing go through. Blessing said, social media is truly a melting pot of all kinds of people, and prolonged exposure can have a negative effect on one's self-awareness. If I spend so much time reading comments about my tribe or gender, it makes me feel so inferior. Taking occasional breaks from these platforms is so important. Blessing, thank you so much. Another one says, to avoid embarrassment such as your guy, the top star guide, would make sense to know subject matters to be discussed and not to be afraid to say I don't have an answer for that at this time when concerned. Okay, you are talking theory. Yes, indeed. But it may not be that. It may be another thing. The fact is, if it happens, how do we, the public, respond? How do we jump on it? What do we do? What do we say? You know, do we ridicule the people involved? Okay, we have a call. Wow. Hello. Sorry for keeping you waiting for some time. Good morning.
Problems. It's okay. I am here.
Oh, Dr. Sanbe, I apologize. I didn't know you were on the line. Doc, we don't have time, so let me give you about a minute to just round off. What can you say to the people? How can we protect our mental health as far as social media is concerned? Doc.
Thank you very much. Nigerian Info, 99.3
yes,
FM.
Sir. Yes, sir.
First, let individuals do what we call self-awareness. To thyself be true. Just like I had a presentation with Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital retirees just yesterday. Let us mind our business. Let individual mind his our business. Tinumbu, see. Are you a councillor? No. Are you a chairman council? No. Are you member House of Assembly? No. Are you then? You are not a board member of any parastatal. Why don't you try and see how you can mind your business and add value to yourself? In the midst of all these chaotic situations,
all right,
certain individuals are just staying calm.
Doc, we have to go. I'm so sorry, Doc. I apologize profusely for it, but I want to thank you very much for your time, Dr. Sanbe. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. I'll be back to say goodbye after this break. Please stay with us.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
As the Christmas bells ring.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3